Good day, everyone. I am Gary Pedacan, and I'm here to present our research paper entitled Impacts of COVID-19 Pandemic on Mental Health Conditions of PNC Engineering Students, a basis for development of intervention program using DMADB. Presenting the authors, Mr. Jack Armando, Mr. Gary Fedacan, Mr. Patrick Jen Olmedo, Mr. Julius Cesar Sevillano, Mr. Marshall Usaraga. Co-authors Engineer Vanessa Aisinieba, Engineer Sara C. Vanguardia, Professor Bernie Domingo, Engineer Mary Grace Biano. For the background of this study, as COVID-19 pandemic grew over the world, it affects not only the physical health, but also the mental health conditions of an individual. It is really evident that there's an increase in terms of mental health issues, especially for these students, since there's an introductions of new learning platform. Mourning, dread, isolation, and loss of income brought by the pandemic are triggering mental health condition of a person. Not just only the education, but also the financial stability of a family was affected during this pandemic, since there's a loss of employment and bankruptcy, and also a loss of many more opportunities. Um, this research paper aims to answer the following question. First is, what is the demographic profile of each respondents in terms of 1. Gender, 1.2. Program, 1.3. Year level, and last is socioeconomic status. Second is, what is the mental health condition of engineering students during COVID-19 pandemic in terms of personal life, its social life, and academe? Third, is there a significant difference between the profiles of the respondents and on the mental health conditions of engineering students? And last, what intervention program can be proposed using DMADB based on the findings of this study? Moving on to the methodology used for this study, the researchers utilized online survey. It includes the PHQ-9 questionnaires, which determine the severity of depression before and during the pandemic. It also includes a demographic profile of the respondents, as well as the factors considered, such as personal life, social life, and academe. This research also utilized the DMADB methodology with 5 phases, such as the define, measure, analyze, design, and validate. These tools will help the researchers to formulate or to create or to design intervention program that is validated validated to determine its effectiveness. For the results of this and discussion, the total sample of the study is 283. That was based on a 970 total population of engineering students this year, 2020-2021. From BSIE, we have 445. For BSCPE, we have 197, and BSECE with 328. A sample was determined using Slobin's formula. For the demographic profile of each respondents, for gender, the male has the majority with 157 and 126 for female. For the program, the BSIE has the highest number of respondents with 149, followed by BSECE with 79, and then BSCPE with 55. Next is for the year level. The frequency of year level is first year and fourth year has the lowest respondents, while Second year and fifth year has the highest with 93 and 90 respectively. For the socioeconomic status, most of the respondents family income were from between 11,690 to 23,831 per month, and also um, most of the respondents with 115 students were from less than 11,690 per month. So for the summary of results of PHQ-9 questionnaires, the researchers determined the scores before and after or during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, the score was 8.325 with verbal interpretations of mild in terms of depression severity. And for after during pandemic, it increases to 13.17 with a verbal interpretations of moderate in terms of depression severity. The summary of weighted mean for academic, personal, and social life. It shows that the respondents often consider those factors that affects their mental health. It has a score of 4.073, 4.179, and 4.159 for academic, personal, and social life respectively. For the results of hypothesis testing, as shown in the table, for gender, program, and year level, as well as socioeconomic status, the T statistic is always less than 2 T critical, which conclude to reject null hypothesis and to accept the alternative for all category. That means that there is a significant difference on demographic profile and mental health conditions of the students during this time of pandemic. So for the summary of findings, the demographic profile of the respondents, of 283 respondents were determined. Majority of them were boys and from BSIE program, and also from second year and fifth year with 90 and 93. And their socioeconomic status with a family income of 11,690 to 23,831 monthly, and they will belong to a low income to a poor income family. Next is the researchers considered 3 factors such as personal, social, and academic that would affect the mental health conditions of the students based on the result of the survey. The average weighted mean were 4.179, 4.159, and 4.073 for personal, social, and academic respectively, with the verbal interpretations of often based on the level of frequency on how they consider it, and moderately severe in terms of depression severity. Last is that the researchers grouped the respondents based on their profile and to test it if there is a significant difference between the demographic profile and mental health conditions before and during the pandemic. And as the result, most of the T statistic is always less than the T critical, which means that null hypothesis is being rejected. That indicates that there is a significant difference between demographic profile and mental health conditions of these students. Conclusions. The researchers further conclude that most of the respondents were male second year and from BSI department. Majority of the respondents were from low income to poor based on their socioeconomic status. And next is the computed average weighted mean for personal life, academic, and social life get a higher score, which indicates a frequency level of often and depression severity of moderate severe. And last is after the performing hypothesis testing, the result shows that T statistic is always less than T critical, which means the null hypothesis was being rejected. For the recommendations, the researchers created a intervention program, which is the Wage One Stallion. It was constructed based on the results of PHQ-9 and as well as the factors considered that affects the mental health, which is the academe, personal, and social life. It has three support system, which is social support system, academic support, and professional support. And it has its own program. For example, social support system for online kamustahan, academic support for tutor me, and professional support is to talk with a professional. That ends my presentation. Thank you.